Are you thinking about buying a home in 2022? Great, stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm gonna give you all the insider info you need to know when buying your next property.
I love it when it feels like this.
Alright, so what's going on? Welcome to my channel. My name's Tom Kustra. I'm a realtor here in the Greater Toronto area with eXp Realty, and I'm going to give you all the insider information you need to know about buying your next home. If you're in the Toronto area and you want to buy a home here, you can definitely reach out to me. Would be happy to help you. Info's down below, or you can just go to gettom.ca. That gives you access to my calendar directly. Book a meeting there and we'll talk about all your real estate needs. But in the meantime, let's get into this video. So what you need to know about buying your home in Ontario or basically anywhere in the world this is going to apply to. The first step you're going to want to do, and this is always important for pretty much anything you want to do in life. So this is basically what you're doing right now. You're researching, you're kind of preparing to move, thinking about things. You know, you're going to want to look into areas, schools, transit, employment options, everything you would basically want to know about an area. Obviously, reaching out to a real estate professional can help you in that regard as well. So that's actually the second thing you're going to want to do. And you're going to want to do this very early. Talk to a realtor. We can help you with the planning and prep stage. You know, we can tell you what areas we like, what areas to avoid, etc. All sorts of insider information you might not know about a specific market. Reach out to your realtor when you're buying a home. We're your best friend. And I'll tell you why you're always going to want to work with a realtor on the buying side, no matter what. You'd be stupid not to. And I'm not trying to insult you here, but you have to realize one thing. The seller, they pay the commission for both the selling agent and the buying agent. So as a buyer, you don't have to pay commission to your realtor. There are cases where, you know, if you deal with a home that's not offering any commission to the buying agent, so like, you know, maybe a for sale by owner, an estate sale, something like that, you may be liable for that 2.5 or 3%, whatever they're charging you in that market. However, what I always do for all of my clients is I just write that that portion of the contract where it says that you're actually liable for this percent. If the seller doesn't agree to it, I just write not applicable. I don't want to run my business like that. I don't want to find out that, oh, you know, the commission didn't come through on this home. Great, now you owe $25,000 while you're trying to move to your next property and you have moving costs, closing costs, taxes, everything like that. I don't want to get into those situations. Sometimes it's just best to let things go and just deal with it like a man, you know, take that L and just call it a day, because negativity, bad stuff like that never goes far in business. So that's something to consider for sure. Definitely reach out to a realtor. We'd be happy to help. Again, if you're in the Greater Toronto area, gettom.ca. That's where you can book a one-on-one with me and we can go over all your needs in terms of real estate. Also on the selling side, the investing side, pre-construction, I basically take care of most of it. A little bit of leases here and there too. Not really the biggest fan of doing leases, but I can do them, you know, by law, and I have done them, so it is what it is. Definitely gettom.ca to reach out to me. Okay, so the third thing you're going to want to do is basically go and get a pre-approval. So at this point, you've talked to a realtor. Now you're going to be talking to a mortgage broker, and any good realtor should be able to recommend you multiple mortgage brokers. You know, depending on your situation, it might be best to work with one versus the other. Like for instance, I have guys that deal with halal financing, guys that deal with, you know, low credit scores. Then I have like my people at the big banks. You know, I got my guy, shout out to Amir at RBC, fantastic dude, love that guy. And basically, you know, certain instances you need a specific mortgage broker. Like for me, when I deal with pre-construction now, a lot of builders, they only want credit unions and big banks. That's it. Nobody else can kind of get a mortgage approval for some of these development projects. So definitely talk to a mortgage agent, and I'll tell you why this is very important. The most important part about getting pre-approved before actually buying a home, you know what your budget is. You know how much you can spend. If you spend more than your budget, it might come back to bite you in the ass, because if you, let's say, purchase a home that you can't close on, you're now liable to pay the seller any damages they might incur by having to relist that home, resell it again. etc. So it just runs into a whole bunch of issues, and you want to know that you're financially able to make the purchase that you're trying to make. So very important. Go get pre-approved. Talk to your realtor if you need a referral to a mortgage agent, and they'll be able to take care of you 100%. Okay, great. So now you've been pre-approved, you're ready to start looking. So you can start your home search online. Go to like a Zillow or a realtor.com, realtor.ca, kind of look what you're looking for. Most good agents should be able to set you up on an automatic search alert where it's going to send you all the just listed properties that meet your criteria. So like for instance with me, what I have on my site is basically called property alerts. So let's just use an example of something I've dealt with recently. You're looking for a townhome, only Pickering, has to be 3 bedrooms plus, and has to be under $1 million. So obviously those are very rare in Pickering, but like I said, that's what you're looking for. That's what I plug into my system, and it'll basically pop out all of those properties every time they're listed. So as a property's just listed, I can put it to say send email ASAP, so you'll see all the new properties right away. They'll be in your email inbox fast. And if you're not looking to move right away, we can always set up a more longer term search alert where you only get an email once a week or maybe once a month or something like that, just because you don't want to flood your inbox with too many of these emails. The just listed ones can get to be a little much, but they are very beneficial for some buyer clients for sure. Okay, so now you've found the right property online. tom.kustra.com just sent you the absolute most stunning 3-bedroom townhome in Pickering, listed at $899, fits every bit of your criteria. You want to go see that today and potentially put in an offer. So you reach out to your realtor and you say, hey Tom, like let's go see this property at 123 Main Street. I want to go see it today. I also kind of like the property at 456 Fake Street. Can we see that as well? And what I like to do for my clients is I say, hey, like, listen, you know, if we're going to go look at 1 or 2 properties, how's your afternoon looking? Do you have a couple hours to spend? Let's go look at 4 properties instead. Let's give you some options. Let me show you what else is available in this market, because sometimes people don't know what they want. So a good agent should be able to help you really hone in and figure out what you want. Obviously, I never want to waste anybody's time and take them to a bunch of useless properties. I only show you properties I think fit your lifestyle and your budget and basically all your needs. And on top of that, like I said, it's just an educational phase. First showing with me, I prefer to do it where we go look at a bunch of properties, because the most important thing for the buying agent is feedback. So when you're working with an agent, give us feedback. Let us know what you like about this property, what you don't like, because it helps us. It only helps us, and if it helps us, it helps you, because we know what you want, and it just makes things much easier. So great, you saw 456 Fake Street and 123 Main Street, but it was really 789 Wood Crescent that you liked. So now you say, hey Tom, you know, that one you showed me at Wood Crescent, wow, that was beautiful. Let's go put in an offer on it. So this is actually the next stage of the home buying process. So you're going to sit down with your realtor. You're going to really create an offer strategy for this property. So it really depends on the market you're in, and you know, right now everything's basically in a seller's market, but it is very hyper local, and some areas are not doing as well as others. So you're really going to want to kind of match your offer strategy to the current market. So what your realtor is going to do is they're going to basically look in that neighborhood, in that city, what properties have been selling for, what we think the fair value of your property that you're looking at is worth, and we kind of come to that number and we write up an offer. Obviously, price is not the only thing that comes into play in an offer. Some of the other big points of consideration are going to be how much of a deposit you're going to be giving to the seller. I always tell my buyer clients, give as big of a deposit as you can and you're comfortable with, because it just makes your offer that much stronger. You look like you're really interested in this property, right? So if I gave you 2 offers, one was $10,000 more, but deposit on that one was only $10,000, whereas the one that's $10,000 less has a $200,000 deposit for attached to it. I'm saying all day, just skip out that $10,000. It's great, it's extra money, but you got 200 grand coming to you right now in escrow that you can deal with. So the stronger your deposit is, stronger your offer is, and then obviously we're going to be going into other things like conditions, where if you have a lot of conditions on your offer, like home inspection clause, financing clause, little things like that, they can make your offer less attractive. If you're in a buyer's market, never go without a home inspection. Very important. If you're in a seller's market, you're kind of screwed, because you have really no choice. Like, there's going to be some madman or mad woman that's going to come in and write an offer with no home inspection clause, and it's just going to be stronger. It's going to be easier to deal with, and yeah, that's basically how it works that way. So that's ultimately your choice. You know, us as agents, we only can tell you what the market's doing at the moment. We can't hold a pen to your head and say, you know, sign this clean offer with no home inspection clause. It's just not something we can do, but it's something to definitely keep in mind. And then another part of the offer process is going to be just basically going over chattels and fixtures. So anything that's, like, you know, not attached to the house is a chattel. So, like, you know, if you're talking about dining room tables, appliances, fridge, stuff like that, you want to just, if something says on the listing it's included with the offer, put it in writing, because that way everybody's safe. If the listing said a fridge is included, but you don't have it in your offer when you take possession of the property, there's no fridge there, but you don't have it in writing, you just SOL, man. Like, you have nothing you can do at that point. So yeah, definitely get all that stuff in writing. If there's like a fixture, you know, a chandelier you really want, and the seller has agreed to let you have it, put that in the paperwork as well. So that's definitely the offer process. Okay, so now you've put in an offer, and maybe the seller isn't 100% happy. They like your deposit, they like your price, they just don't like the fact that you have a home inspection clause in there. They want a clean offer. They want this property sold. They don't want to have to come back in a month and say, oh, some home inspector didn't like this, so let's like, now this person didn't buy my property and I'm basically screwed. So the seller comes back to you, they say, we didn't like your offer. We want this home inspection clause waived out. We also want to bump up the price by $5,000. They counter your offer. They send it back to you. You can either reject or accept, or you can counter the counter offer and basically go from there. So all part of the negotiation process, and that's definitely an important process as well. So after all the negotiations are basically all said and done, if there are conditions in your contract, so you did end up actually putting that home inspection clause back in on the counter offer, but you offered them an extra $20,000 to make up for it, or whatever, you know, you strategized it somehow with your realtor, you basically go through the conditional phase. So let's say you have 1 week to get a home inspection. You get the home inspection done on Wednesday night, your realtor writes off an email to the listing agent, says, yeah, home inspector's all good, conditions gone. Okay, great. So now all the conditions have waived and your property is free and clear. So at this point, your realtor is basically going to do what's called the one last final walkthrough. So I go through the property, I make sure everything's okay, there's no damages, nothing that happened after the property was sold, that basically it's in the same condition it was when you guys agreed upon the sale. So making sure any fixtures you might have that are included, like the fridge, the stove, dishwasher, any of that stuff, basically just making sure it's all good to go and in good working order. And then at that point, you know, your lawyer or me is going to basically give you the keys, and you're going to have access to your property on the closing date. And that's the basis of your buying process here in Ontario and pretty much across the world. So I hope that video helped you with understanding a little bit more about the buying process here in Ontario or abroad, wherever it is. Always curious to know where you people are from, because, you know, most of my videos I target local, where this one I'm kind of targeting just globally. So comment your country down below. I'm curious where you're watching from. Other than that, again, Tom Kustra with eXp Realty here in Toronto. If you're in the Toronto area, you want to book a call with me, get tom.ca. Also, right here, I'm just gonna kind of link a playlist, and this is going to be the market update for the Greater Toronto area. So if you're buying a home in Toronto, Durham, York region, Peel, anywhere like that, all the information about the most current market stats are going to be right here. So go watch that. It's going to help you. Also just kind of gives you an idea of how crazy our market is if you're watching from around the world. Have yourself a wonderful day. Bye.
I love it when it feels like this.